Hi there. It's Sunday night, late, a lot later than I like to typically film my vlogs, and pardon me if I whisper for part of this video because I'm trying not to wake up my son, who I finally got to go to sleep. I wanted to keep my promise and come back after a week to talk to you all. I've been getting some questions about quitting my job because I mentioned that in my last video, and I wanted to touch on that a little bit more, as well as talk about freelancing and kind of the whole world of freelancing, which I entered into about 6 months ago after leaving my corporate job. Essentially, when I say I quit my job, I was coming to the end of a contract and I gave my written notice that I was going to be not renewing my contract. This is a freelance contract, but it takes a good portion of my time, whereas, freelance gigs usually are considered side hustles and things like that, where you would work on it maybe in the evening, maybe on the weekend, but this is kind of like a part-time to full-time gig. So I just felt like it was starting to take up a lot of my time, and I had and have a lot of other things I want to pursue. And I felt that this gig was making it very difficult to do that. I'm a work from home mom where I have to mom and work kind of at the same time. I do have a sitter, but it's majority me. It's very challenging to fit in any other passion projects or things that I want to do in my busy schedule. So hence the crazy hair and the dark circles for days. Anyway, my nose running?
No.
It feels like my nose is running.
It's not.
It's not? It is?
It's not. Right.
Oh. But in the last week, after having given my written notice that I wasn't going to be renewing my contract, my client came back and wanted to renegotiate the contract, make it so that it would work more for me, make it so that I wouldn't have to work as many hours, but still kind of be a part of the process that he needs to go through and whatnot. And after a few days of considering it, we renegotiated the contract so that I'm going to be more minimally involved, which is great. Because I still do want to continue the work, but I just want to start making time in my life for other things. And negotiating contract is something that I have learned how to do through trial and error, and it's something I want to make a vlog specifically for. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe that'll be next week's vlog about negotiating a contract and starting freelance. But anyway, let's dive into the actual story. When I gave birth, I had 3 months of maternity leave from my corporate full-time job, and I was so anxious, sweating bullets every single day about having to go back to work. I was like, what am I going to do? And I'm sure there are many of you watching this who have probably gone through this or are thinking that they're going to go through this at some point, where you're going to have a baby and you know that after tax, insurance, gas, and daycare, you're probably not going to be making anything at the end of your paycheck. It was so disheartening. And it wasn't just oh, I wish I would be making more money type of thing. It was literally we need to make money in order to pay our bills, and this is not a good solution because all my money is going to be going out to have someone else take care of my son, so that I can go work to make nothing. It was a really difficult situation to be in, and anyone I went to was kind of like, yeah, that's how it goes in California. That's just the way it is. And that was so discouraging. Like, I needed a solution. I didn't know what to do. I had known one person who was working from home, and I was like, that was kind of in the back of my head. After a few months going back to my job, I quit. I just went in and put my 2 weeks notice in, even though I had nothing lined up. I didn't care. I didn't see the point of seeing my kid for about an hour and a half a day, being exhausted and not making any money, and pouring myself into a company that I knew I didn't want to stay at. So I quit, and it was a week later I got an offer to freelance. And it was the first time I was ever going to freelance. I had so many insecurities. I was so worried that I wasn't going to be good at the work. I wasn't going to know how to do it. I wasn't going to know how to work with a client and all this stuff. And I think in hindsight, I let a lot of my insecurities show a little bit too much in the beginning, but you live and you learn. But man, let me tell you, freelancing and working from home has been the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. And I remember when I was pregnant and people kept asking me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I said, I know that going back to work is not a solution, so I'm going to find something I can do from home. And 99% of everyone I told that to was like, what are you talking about? What are you going to do from home? What do you mean you're going to work from home? What's that? And people who have heard of it were like, oh yeah, you're probably going to get a pay cut. Or when I had this opportunity come up people are like, oh, well, that would be cool if it's legit and things like that. The fact of the matter is there are a lot of freelancers out there, and there are a lot of freelance moms, and I think that you should know that I'm one of them, so that if you're in my position, or if you are in the position I was in, where you just feel stuck and you're working so hard and you want to see your kid and you're not making enough, that freelance is an amazing option. A couple of reasons why is because A, you get to choose your own hours. You get to make your own schedule. You know, if I need to go take my son to the doctor, or if my son's sick, I take the day off. I choose when to work. If I want to work nights so that I don't have to hire a sitter as often, I do that. I design my contract to work with my schedule and my needs. Also, you don't have that vacation day guilt where when you're at, or at least my last job, if you were sick for a day, people are like, when are you coming back in? Are you really sick? Are you going to the doctor? And I'm one of those people, I always felt guilty if I took a day off, even if I was just taking a vacation day. You don't have that. You choose when you're going to take your time off. You choose when you're going to be grinding it out. And it's just, there's the part of freelance, the free part is, it just makes sense because you get to choose so many aspects. You get to choose how much you're going to get paid. You quote your client. You get to choose who you work with. You interview your client. That's something I learned too. You don't have to take every gig that comes your way. And while yes, you know, sometimes we do take gigs we don't want to do because we need to pay our bills, you get to choose when that ends. And while yes, you can do the same thing at a job, you can choose to quit a job, I feel like it's a lot easier when you're a freelancer. There's a lot less, I guess, public shame. Like when I left my last job, yeah, there were people who were happy for me, but there were also people who were kind of not happy about it. People who were upset that I was leaving and were mad that they had to find a replacement and things like that. When I choose not to continue working for someone, it's not a big deal. And you know, if you are a mom who works a regular corporate job and you get paid well and you don't mind your kid going to daycare and you have a great place for them to go, no judgment. I'm just saying, for me, being young, literally at the beginning of my career at an entry-level position, it was not something that was going to work for me. And I'm talking to you mothers who are out there, 22, 23, 24, at the beginning of your career, just had a baby, and you have no idea what you're going to do. Work from home jobs are real. They're not fake. They do not always come with a pay cut. It's really up to you. I'm not working as much as I was in terms of that particular client. And I'm going to start doing other things like social media and more videography stuff and other gigs that I just want to start exploring and stretching a little bit more. I don't like getting complacent, I guess. Once I feel like I've mastered something, even if it's 3 months or a year, it's time to move on. I'm just one of those people, I hate being bored and I like challenging myself. So making vlogs is definitely challenging, especially weekly. That's the story about me quitting my job and what I'm doing next. I hope it, out of some part of it, has helped you realize that if you feel like you're running in circles and you're just tired and you're not getting the time that you want, I'm not saying my life is perfect, but I was able to see my son this year. I was able to see him go through his first year of life and be there for him and just raise him, and that's been so awesome. That's been amazing, a huge blessing. So I hope I get to continue to do that. I don't ever want to go back to a desk job. I don't ever want to go back. So I'm hoping that freelance stuff will just keep coming my way, and if that's what you want, drop me a comment and let me know what your reservations are, or if you just don't know where to get started. And I want to help as best I can, you know, all of you moms or people in general who just want to start freelancing and see how that all works out. And I'm happy to shed some of my experience onto the situation to try to help you as best I can. I feel like there's something else I'm missing, so let me check my notes. I jotted down an epiphany that I had when I was reflecting on my freelance experience, and I just want to share it with you. I said, maybe you feel you don't have enough experience or confidence. Neither did I. I wasn't a freelancer before I became a freelancer. That's like a baby waiting to study how to walk before they try. When it comes to a lot of things in life, the learning is in the doing. So I really encourage you this week to look at yourself differently. You know, a lot of people are like, I can't do this work that I really want to do because I've never done it before. And they are waiting to like get a gig, to start a job or to take a course, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes I feel like, especially when we're so busy, that there's not time for that. And how sad would it be to keep postponing something you really just want to dip your toes into because you just don't feel qualified, when a lot of it is just you jumping in and figuring it out. And I did that 6 months ago when it comes to marketing and different things that I was working with, and now I'm good at it, and now I'm having a knack for it, and I'm more intrigued by it. And yeah, so if there's something you really want to do, just start doing it. You know, find a YouTube video or a blog or someone else who does it, get inspired on Pinterest, I don't know, but just don't wait anymore. This week, write down the things that you were like, that would be my dream job. And instead of waiting for a company to hire you for it, choose yourself and start doing it. And that's what I did 6 months ago. And when I thought that there was no such thing as a work from home job and that I was gonna have to work, I literally, when I quit my job, I went and applied at a grocery store thinking that I was gonna be working nights so that I can be with my son during the day and work all night long. That just sounded so daunting and miserable. I have a really bad back, so heavy lifting at a grocery store would have been a horribly bad idea. But here I was thinking that was my only option. So I'm so grateful that this gig came to me, and it actually came to me because of a recommendation someone made who I had talked to about me wanting to work from home. This was the only person who didn't doubt that a job like this could exist. So that's another thing. Please, 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 if you want to do something, just tell people you want to do it. Just be open about it, because even though most people are going to laugh at you, because they will, there's probably 1 or 2 people who are going to believe that you can do that, and they might even help you. And that's what happened with me. That's how I started this freelance journey, making a lot more than I was at my last job, having a lot more freedom, having a lot more ability to just do what I wanted and create the lifestyle that I wanted. And while my life isn't perfect, this is an avenue that has allowed me to start crafting that life that I want. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I'm so glad you tuned in again another week, and I will see you next week. Bye.